Hey y'all, trying to get some light up in here, but then there's like a glare when there's light. Maybe I can move over a little bit. It's Undeniable Tarot, Undeniable Tings Tarot. Welcome to, I'm gonna do a reading today, but maybe I should do it from this side. Is that better? Y'all, I can't figure this out. Okay, I'm gonna just leave it like this. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a reading today. But also, like, I wanted to have like a little chit chat because I've been struggling with something and I feel like I should just talk about it. I've been like getting into a lot of arguments with people, and y'all, like, I just feel compelled to stop talking. Like don't get me wrong, and I don't know how this is even going to happen because I am an artist and my job requires me to communicate, such as this on video. And you know, a lot of people do come to me with concerns, and you know, they want to talk things out. People think that I'm a great source of communication, and you know, I make a lot of sense when, you know, I have an objective point of view when people have issues, and you know, and I try to do things in a non-judgmental way because at the end of the day, we're all human and we're all infinite. We're all capable of doing things and feeling, you know, different ways. So I don't know how this is gonna work. I think what I'm gonna do is like, maybe just for musical purposes and work, I will communicate. But because I love doing YouTube videos, I love creating content and, you know, writing music and singing and stuff like that. But I'm just like so tired of talking. I'm so tired of talking. Like, and it's not even like, you know, I think we all can work on how we say things, and I think sometimes like perspectives, like it's not foreign to think like, hey, you're not always gonna align with a perspective that someone else has, right? I think I'm just having a difficult time, and my silence is not to punish anyone or to run away from working on my communicative weaknesses or whatever. It's just that I feel like personally that I'm not the best. It feels like with certain things I can explain myself, and I can explain, like, even with tarot I can interpret and explain it, but when I have certain perspectives, it doesn't come across in a receivable way, and I think people get offended by what I say and they automatically think I'm attacking them, and that's not my intention. And granted, like, you know, there has been times where, you know, I can see how someone could feel attacked and vice versa, but I feel like I just don't like, I think like I get around a lot of people who, and this could be a subconscious attraction thing. I'm around a lot of people, the people closest to me in my life, or people in general, like throughout my life, that have very, what's the word? They're very fixed. Like, they're very much so, in their ways. You know, how they've lived has worked for them, whatever. And I think, like, I tend to aggravate those solidifications, like those things that are fixed, because I don't know, like, sometimes I don't really feel like I stick to one identity. And because I can question things and challenge things, because I have different perspectives, or like, I feel like a lot of the times think that just because, like, people think in a very black and white way, and I'm more so like, all right, well, two things can be true at the same time, or just because I'm acknowledging this thing, that doesn't mean that I'm invalidating something else. Like, and I think people try to figure me out, or like, people, like, the brain is designed to collect patterns, you know what I mean? And I think, like, I don't know, like, when I speak up on those things, it attacks people's ego, and they feel attacked because how their ego identifies themselves is being, like, how, like, when you speak on someone, like, or something that you observe, a person's ego feels attacked because their ego doesn't necessarily identify with their true self all the time. Like, someone may think a way about themselves, but that may not necessarily be true, is because that's their ego wanting them to think that way about themselves. And I have this issue too. Like, I think, like, a lot of people say, just because, like, like, a lot of people think, like, oh, you can't really learn from someone. Why would you take advice from someone who's never been where you've been, or who isn't going where you're going, or it doesn't want to go where you're going? And it's like, I understand that, and, like, you don't necessarily have to trust the source, but you can always learn something from everybody. And I feel like I get argumentative, and then I don't even know what I'm talking about. Like, I get argumentative, and then it just gets, like, the whole point of the situation just goes out the window, and now we're battling each other's egos, and we're trying to win instead of understanding. And I feel like I'm just tired of, like, having a perspective, and then instead of someone understanding why or where I'm coming from, they make a judgment. Like, if I say, I've never been roller skating. Well, you're stupid for never going roller skating. How have you never been roller skating? I mean, it existed, and it started existing in 19, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, what makes you think I want to talk to you anymore if you just said that I'm stupid because I've never been roller skating? And it's like, I wasn't just stupid 20 minutes ago when you came to me and asked me for advice or my perspective on something. And it's just like, I just feel like we can have a conversation about, like, whatever, and then, like, without, like, saying someone is a thing. And it's like, once someone says, oh, you're a thing because you said or think this, it's like, all right, well, now you're a thing because you said and said and think that. Like, and it's like, I'm not mature enough to not be spiteful right now when it comes to, because it's like, people are so quick to point out this and that, but it's like, the only reason why you're so offended is because there's an element of that within yourself that you don't like, that I'm identifying in your ego. The reason why we're both fighting right now is because we're identifying, you know, there's something that we're identifying here. You know what I mean? So within ourselves, a lot of stuff be a projection. And it's like, I don't know, like, I just want to stop talking. Like, it's not even like, I do want to work on my communication skills, but I think that a big part of me working on my communication skills is by not saying anything and just listening. Like, I think, like, after when somebody says a certain thing a certain way, it's like all of that listening goes out the window, and I don't give a fuck anymore. I feel like, you know, emotions get involved, and there's no talking about anything. So I want to listen. I want to observe. I want to take it in. I think not talking would allow me to think about what I say before I say it in a more objective way, because a lot of times when we speak prematurely, first of all, we don't always know what the other person is saying. Second of all, we may say something that could potentially hurt the other person and not even notice it, or we may say something we may regret. And it's just like, yeah, I just don't know if I'm capable of doing that with the version of myself that I am right now. So I think, like, not saying anything and just observing and listening, there's no room for, and granted, I can still communicate non-verbally, and I can also, you know, text or type or write. And, you know, I think also too, I say too much. Like, I overcompensate for feeling like misunderstood, or like I'm not explaining something correctly because someone's telling me what I think or what I said, and that's not what I'm saying. And it's like, you're responding to something that you think I'm saying instead of listening to what I'm saying. And I just feel like I'm not explaining it correctly, or I'm not doing it the way that someone wants me to do it, or I'm not getting to the point, or I don't know what it is. And I just feel like I'm gonna just shut the fuck up. Like, I just feel like I'm gonna shut the fuck up. Like, you know? And I don't know. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work out for me. I'm just gonna practice it. I don't plan to do it long term, but I do think, I don't know, my spirit is telling me to just be quiet. Just to listen. Just to observe, to take it in. Don't judge. Don't react. Like, just maybe for a couple of days, and then eventually I can maybe stop conversations when it comes to a point where emotions are overriding and tinting the logistics of the conversation. Because I'm a Pisces, okay? Like, I'm trying to get in control of my emotions. People are weak when they're easily triggered. I'm not gonna say I'm easily triggered, but I will say that, like, there is a trigger for me of feeling misunderstood, and it's very deep. It runs very deep. It comes from childhood trauma. It comes from past experiences. It comes from just a history of me not being felt or heard or seen. And I really want to work on this, because it makes me think, okay, well, how well do I hear, understand, know myself if I get so triggered when somebody else doesn't understand or misunderstands or doesn't hear me? It makes me feel like, okay, this is not a them issue. This is your issue, Nyla. You don't hear yourself. You don't understand yourself. You don't know yourself. And that's why when somebody says this, that, and the third, you're overcompensating for that, because you may feel in somewhere inside that that could be true, or you don't know what's true. So that's why I just want to shut the fuck up. Like, I don't like, and people understand you by how you react, what you react to, and I don't need to give anyone like anything. Like, I don't, like, whatever the answer is in me, and I just feel like I'm gonna just shut the fuck up and find it. So yeah, that's my little spiel. And this could be like selective silence. Like I said, I still want to make music. I still want to make videos. I still want to do tarot and stuff like that. But I just want to practice more with the people in my everyday life, because I love dearly the people in my everyday life. I do love them, and I want them in my life. I think, like, for me, like, I just need to be more present, be more observative, be more silent, and only speak when really necessary. Pick and choose my battles, because sometimes the arguments just turn into stuff, and it's just like, did that even really fucking matter? Like, you know, taking time before I respond. But before I get there, I just want to be quiet. Just be quiet, just for a couple days, or selectively, or whatever. But yeah, so let's do a mini reading for Pisces. I don't know how I want to start. Maybe we can start with these. So let's see what the overall theme is. This is going to be a quick reading, because I do have other readings to record today. Think about burning that, but I'll just save that for later. Okay, so universe, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, known and unknown, borrow, God, use me as a vessel to relay the most accurate message at this time. Excuse me, for the Pisces collective. What is the messages for the Pisces collective? What does spirit want to tell the Pisces today? What does spirit want to tell? By the book. So what's funny is I actually found, hold on, because I think I put the box back in here. Hold on. Ooh. want to read you guys the book definition of this card, because I haven't done that in a couple of videos. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. So, number 11. It says, abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting culture or family customs, universal laws. The universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, the law of nature, and are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. This is a time to learn these laws and conform to them rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules even if they seem to make no sense. Release resistance, for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. So let's be very clear. This talks about universal laws, not human constructed laws. The best way to figure out how the world works is to observe nature, because nature is in its natural state. It's not infiltrated or influenced by humans. So maybe, a universal law, you can see that, there's seasons in life, and we see that with nature. The earth goes through seasons. We have winter, fall, spring, and summer in some areas, and in some other areas it's other seasons. But either which way, we know that there's different seasons that the environment goes through. There's if you just observe nature, you will understand more about what needs to be brought into balance within your life. So, for example, if I'm thinking about like what I just was talking about, like how to go about like communicating, well, for one, in nature, animals communicate with their affiliated species, right? They can communicate with other species, but usually when they do, it's for specific reasons. And I also feel like if we look at how animals communicate, they don't use words or whatever. They use emotions, they use nonverbal cues. So they usually communicate, when they're hungry, when it's time to hunt. What I'm saying is that if you resonate with the first message about me not wanting to talk anymore, or to be selective about what I say, when I say it, and for what reason, I feel like if I'm and this is just what came to me about, universal laws. If I observe nature, I observe from what I can tell you right now, I may have to do more research. When nature communicates, it's very purposeful. It's very intentional. It is very much so like for a reason. And I feel like I need to be more silent, because when I talk sometimes it's unnecessary. It's overcompensating. It's misinterpreted with it's not always intentional, or there's not a set intention for what I'm saying. I'm not really thinking. What I mean by that is I'm not really thinking about what I'm saying. I'm just responding. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that just came to me. Like, observe nature, how nature communicates, how things of nature communicate. And again, we're human beings, we're of nature. So, we're not separate from that. But I think because we have a mind and a brain that's so complicated, we just overcompensate, in certain areas. But going back to a more primal, prehistoric version of a human being, it's like all these words and shit, these languages, and language is a blessing. Communication is a tool, but we overuse it, we abuse it. It's a lot of it is non-purposeful, like, a lot of it doesn't matter. And it's like, I just want to speak when it counts. Like, I want to speak when it counts. I'm speaking to you guys on YouTube because this is what I love to do. I love to communicate for the sake of a purpose of healing and helping people who may be going through the same thing. This is purposeful for me. It's purposeful for me to do readings. It's purposeful for me to talk about maybe something that I'm going through to a bigger audience that possibly could be going through the same thing. We can cope together. You know what I'm saying? It's purposeful for me to communicate a boundary, or it's purposeful for me to communicate music because it's my love, it's my passion. It's how I filter and process experiences. Those things are important. It's important for me to communicate business ideas and investments, because financially, I just want to be more purposeful. And by the book is basically saying, like, if there's something that you are having an imbalance with in life, whether it's your communication skills, whether it's your health, whether it's your emotions, whether it's your spiritual, your spiritual capacity, whether it's your family, whether it's your finances, even your resources, anything. First of all, study the laws of nature, the laws of karma, the laws of manifestation. Check yourself. Do you set intentions before you do these things? Or what, like, is there intention? Is there purpose? Or how does it work in nature? You know what I'm saying? Like, go off of that. And again, by the book has nothing to do, for me at least, with human made constructs. Let's go to the beginning of time to see how the world works and work with those rules and regulations, and not necessarily try to make sense of it, to analyze it, but just to observe it, because the things of nature we're not always going to understand. There's literally there's miracle phenomenons of nature, like, there's things that we're never going to be able to fully understand or analyze, but just observe it, because maybe that, like, if this is how life has been from the beginning of time, if the sun always rises in the east and sets in the west, I think it rises in the east, or it may be opposite, but you know what I mean. Like, let's bring things into harmony based off of those universal truths and those universal laws. So I don't know if I explained that correctly, but yeah, that's what I got, man. So let's get some advice. This is a short reading. I'm just doing one card, Let's get some advice for the Pisces collective. Let's get some advice. Let's get some advice. I probably should have did a timestamp to let you guys know when the reading actually started. I'll put that below. It says surrender to passion. It says, get out of your head and feel the fire in your belly. Focus on the people or activities that ignite your passion and let it flow. Okay, another universal law is intuition and intuition. So I was saying to you guys earlier about how I felt it in my spirit to just shut the fuck up, just stop talking, to just be silent for some time, just to soak it all in, right? Listen to your body. Like, your body and your soul is telling you things before you can even put it together in your head or in a sentence or whatever. And even those moments where like the reason why I want to be silent is because sometimes I may say something that may trigger somebody may say something to trigger me, and it's like, it's a feeling in your body that you feel when you get triggered. It's like, I can't even explain it, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like, sometimes you may not even realize that it's like you just know that moment. Like, you know that moment. If we can just feel that energy and just sit with it instead of just reacting off of it. Sometimes we're just moving so fast, we're in denial of this feeling. It's like when we sit with that, like, we can better understand ourselves. And passion can come in the form of anger, creativity, sexuality. Like, listen, like, a universal law is intuition and feeling yourself and feeling the passion within you. Like, when I'm arguing with somebody, I automatically feel the passion to explain myself, because I'm angry of feeling misunderstood. I'm fearful of it. I feel these, it's emotions. Like, that's what intuition is. And I feel like if you just listen to your body and how it feels when you talk to people, when you don't talk to people, when there's certain words that are used in a conversation, when there's certain experiences or senses being triggered, if you feel yourself and you feel that whatever the feeling is, it's strong. Like, passion is just a strong feeling. It could be a strong feeling of anger, a strong feeling of creativity, a strong feeling of sexual energy, like a strong feeling of like, your passion tells you when something is being triggered or boundaries being crossed, or when you are excited about something. Like, listen to that inside of you. Trust yourself. I mean, I don't know. Trust yourself is one of the universal laws. Trust yourself, and trusting your intuition, and trusting how you feel. What your soul desires to do in any given moment. It tells you a lot about the nature of yourself. Like, if we're talking about observing the nature, trees and shit, water, whatever, what is the nature of yourself? Observe the nature of your being. And you will learn a lot about yourself, about how you feel, what you desire, the passion you have for something. Like, it'll tell you a lot about yourself. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys like this reading. I hope this helps somebody. And hopefully we can talk more about, like, this type of stuff, because as I'm talking, I'm even realizing certain things, putting things together, and it really does help to talk. It does help to communicate. It does help to, like, don't get me wrong, communication is a very valuable tool in life. It's literally the tool that is the decider of success for a lot of things in life. But I just feel like sometimes, like, not saying anything and just listening is just as valuable, is a big valuable component of communication, just as much as talking. So wish me luck, guys. This is something I'm going to be practicing, and I will update you guys to see, or to tell you guys what I've observed and what I've learned and how it's going for me. And yeah, thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.